Hope for Sale by Chiild with three eyes. 11 songs,
Child.
31 minutes.
Yeah, this is interesting record to say the least. I don't know what do I like stupid fucking music genres, but what do I want to
This felt refreshingly alternative to me, actually.
that solid some of these tracks you can definitely hear like different radio stations or the mall at the same time, if that makes sense. It's like that style alternative.
Elaborate.
It's not saying it's bad, but I'm saying like it's easy to listen to alternative and like plays through very well. Nothing like anything conspicuous or insane, but it's a pretty solid track. Example, Sleepwalking, the first track on here, I really enjoy. I really like that track a lot. It sucks you into the album and gets you set up for what the rest of it's going to be. Thank Christ it's short. There's only 31 minutes because within this space and within this album, like if you made it any longer, it would have gotten drowned out very quickly. A lot of these
Mm-hmm.
other great tracks in here would have easily gotten drowned out. And this is where making those shorter records, depending on the genre and depending on the stylistics and everything of it else, really help into context. So that's something I do like as a trend of this year, for
Uh,
sure.
Unfortunately, Sean, I'm agreeing with you a lot. Sleepwalking reminds me of Point of No Reply by The Horrors. It's like a really nice sort of slow,
Yeah, I can see
smooth
that.
bass thing to sort of like get you into the album.
You know what? This is I have a combination, an
Okay.
Audioface combination.
All right, here we go.
This is Zoo and the Horrors. This is if Zoo and the Horrors somehow
What the
combined and
fuck?
made some shit. That is what this album would sound like. That's what this album sounds like.
I was fully not prepared for that, man.
But that's what it sounds like because it has like Point No Reply, but then it has some like Ringo's Desert parts 1 and 8 in here and stuff. So like you have those kind of sounds and everything, which I love those sounds. I love a lot of those tracks and everything, but that's like kind of that combination in there,
Yeah, you have some
which is good
soft.
because it's nothing that's it's very unique in that regard, but there's something oddly familiar to it as well.
Yeah. Not a lot of features, but you do get one from Mahalia, and I fucking love me some Mahalia. And it's a really delightful song. Track three, Awake.
Wait,
Actually, there are two features. I'll be accurate. There's
Jason
Gone
McRae,
at the End with
uh,
Jensen McRae, also very good song. But yeah,
Awake.
it's like alternative neo pop again, kind of like Chet Faker, and in like a tempo and a beat, like kind of very like you can see like an intimate setting surrounding it for sure. And yeah, it almost has these like sort of tropical island drums in the background, something that definitely feels like you hit with your hands actually to get that really resonant sound in the background. It's
Yeah.
like it's really nice with the guitar strumming in the background. It's just a lovely soundscape kind of deal, and both of their voices like really are powerful on it.
Yeah, I really like that track. I love the contrast between the voice and everything. You know me, I'm a sucker for that shit. I really love contrasting vocals. Within the context of the album, it still resonates with it. So almost this Awake reminds me of Emotional Oranges and some of their first record, kind of that style a little bit too, which you know how much I like them. So, but solidly into that like alternative route and everything as well. Later on in the middle album, you have like 13 Months of Sunrise, Lotus that are all good tracks, but you have a little bit more, I'll say drum influences and stuff within the production of those tracks, even though they're still pretty slow and whatnot, which is kind of the whole thing of the record. But overall, very good. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm glad again how long it is. Some of these tracks are only like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes long, which is good within the context of the tracks as well, because you don't want any of these tracks to be super long because then it just gets drowned out and kind of within the point of what you want to just kind of get up to it. Because normally on albums that are 11 songs, you know, you got a Radiohead album that's 11 songs is like an hour long. So it's good within that context of it. So
Yeah, I'll say this is a top heavy project. I like some of the stuff in the
for
beginning a
sure.
little bit more. And I'm trying to not have like this bias as we've done in like almost 2 albums, 3 albums in a row now of like slower things not like scoring or like being received as well. But I think there's something to be said about an album that can have a slow sort of pace and still have energy and a little bit of range throughout the project, especially
Yeah.
within 30 minutes. A little bit of an speaking of I guess unorthodox examples to compare Vince Staples because it was a very short project, and generally Vince Staples is a less upbeat, kind of lower tempo kind of like deal project going into it. You still had a lot of range emotionally and variety, where like some things were slower and definitely more like heady and emotional, and some things were slower and kind of more like bangers when you're getting to law of averages, right? So
Yeah.
you can definitely do range and still keep like a low tempo album and still keep that working, right? Rez, who's like as a mission makes all of her EDM music like very low tempo.
Yes.
You can still have a lot of emotional range in that and still like give a lot of energy in that album. So we want to see a little bit more of that, but that is to say, like, what is here and what does work is really, really damn good.
Agreed. Very much
Yeah.
agreed. Arbitrary scale this week because we do arbitrary scale every week because music reviewers suck and we're good. It's promised
QED.
Kanye drops. Exactly. Promised Kanye drops. This is a solid Donda. Like this is the nearly 10 years going on ever since his mom passed. He wanted to make a record kind of named after his mom and kind of did all these things and said it was going to drop now, but then wait, no, I'm going to do it again. But then released all these other projects and stuff, and then sells out a whole stadium and sells nachos for like $85 and all that stuff, and then rolls up with a stocking on his face to watch a football match apparently. Soccer for those of you who uncultured swines, and does that whole thing and just like walks out onto a rink by himself, thinks he's a figure skater for some shit. Maybe he's watching the Olympics and he's like, maybe I could be part of the Winter Olympics in the US team. Who knows? And then has another episodic episode like that. So there you go.
All I know is I'm gonna become the greatest rapper of all time by rolling out to the Englewood Forum in a gimp suit and pressing spacebar on the Audioface 200 jingle.
Fucking gimp suit.
That will, of course, require me to make and finish the Audioface 200 jingle, but maybe we have some motivation.
All right, Kanye. Don't pull a Kanye. That's your motivation.